Okay, we're here on page 219. We just got started and we've identified angle of elevation. We've identified angle of depression. We know that the first tower is 200 meters. So part of the second tower is also 200 meters. How do I get the rest of the tower? How do I get that height h? What angle would I use? The 40 or the 25? Yeah, the 40. I need to focus in on this triangle up above. So 40 and h. So what else do I need? I need one more. What do I need? Yeah, you need one more side. So which side should I go for? See the dashed line? Do you see how it's shared between the two triangles? So that's the one I need. So how am I going to get this question mark, this one at the bottom? How am I going to get it? Probably got to work on this triangle in here. Okay. So if 25 is angle of depression, then this is also 25 angle of elevation. Okay, see that? See that there in the bottom? Did you already do this question?
Yeah.
Your machine. Can you see the board? You gonna write some stuff down? Same with you over there. Make sure you're writing, paying attention. Okay, so let's focus in on this triangle down at the bottom. It's 200 right here. And there's that dashed line. No, this line here is the same as the dashed line. 25 in the corner. So focus in on this triangle here. What label is 200? Up. And the one that we want is adjacent. So which one? So, ka, toa. Toa, because we want adj and we have op. So what goes next to the trig thing? The op is, and the adjacent is unknown. Times or divide on this one? Yeah, divide. Basically, those two just switch places. So the adjacent is 200 over tan 25. 200 divided by tan 25. $428.9. So that's the distance across the two towers. Once you have the distance across the two towers, you can focus in on this other triangle. So nothing new. Sokotoa, labeling, setting up, executing, and finding shared sides and problem solving. So that's it. What's the labels for this one? H is op. The green is still adjacent. So this is tan as well. Tan 40. H over 428.9. Do I times or divide on this one? Because if it's in the top and you don't know the one in the top, then you'll times. So basically just times those two. The 428 comes up. 428.9 times tan 40. That will equal h. Yeah, 359.89. So let's just round that a bit. 359.9. And whatever the unit is. What is it, meters? Yeah. So everybody goes and puts 359 on their test and gets it wrong. Why would you get it wrong? Can't forget about 200, right? So add the 200 back on. 559.9, good. So this is problem solving. Pretty basic stuff. If I give you one triangle, I think most of you handle it no problem. So if I give you two triangles, what's the strategy? Find the shared side, okay? You guys still need that for a bit? I'll take attendance while you copy that down. Who's texting over there? There's some vibration. It's yours? In the desk? Roger. Nathan. Yes, sir. Quick, okay? Okay, let's jump into number 5. Okay, extension ladder. You know what those are? Yes. Guys, it's the ladders that can change lengths, right? So if you got to go higher up, you can roll it up. Okay? So this one, if you read it, what does it say? The extension ladder must be used at an angle of 65 degrees. So it's fixed. No matter what, it's 65. I guess this is like some safety regulation. Okay. At its shortest length, it's 18. At its longest length, it's 32. Can you guys draw those two triangles for me? And your triangle should be the same angle for both times. So if one of them's 65, the other one should also be 65. There's roughly 65. And of course the ladder is like leaning against the wall, right? There's your right angle in the corner. Now if the ladder is longer, it's obviously going to reach up higher. Still the same angle. So one time the ladder is 18 and one time the ladder is 32. So figure out the two different heights. And then it says, well, how much higher up? So what would you do with H2 and H1 once you get the answers? Good, you would just subtract. And that's what you want. So for both these triangles, which label do you want? H1 and H2, what label is that? Is it adjacent 65, opposite 65, which one? Yeah, it's opposite. And the ladder is across the 90-degree angle, so the ladder is the hypotenuse, right? So which one does op and hype? So for both, it's sine 65 over 1 on the left side of your equation. For both equations, sine 65 over 1. For the first triangle, the opposite, H1, goes with 18. And for the second one, the opposite, H2, goes with 32. Do I times or divide on these ones? You just times, because the unknown's in the top. If the unknown's in the top, you just times them, and it's super easy. So sine 65 times 18 and sine 65 times 32. One of them is 16.3, the other one is 29. Ugh. So subtract the bigger one from the smaller one there and you get what you want. I got 12.7. And this is feet. Now, the part B says how much farther from the house must the base be when it's fully extended compared to its shortest length. So now that you have, in this question, part B, what you have is, you know the ladder, you know the height. The first one was 16.3. So how do you find a third side if you know two of them already? You don't even need sine, cos, and tan. Just use Pythagorean. The other one's similar, 32. This time it's 29. And then what's this one? What's the shortcut for Pythagoras? Open up the little house, the little radical thing, right? For the short side, do you add or subtract? Subtract. And do you subtract the regular numbers or do you subtract the squares? And which one goes first, the big one or the small one? The bigger one, or else you get a calculator error. Use brackets if you have scientific. If you got the graphing calculator, it does it for you. You can get those answers separately. And then how much difference, you're just going to subtract again. Or you're going to compare. So the square of 18, take away the square of 16.3. That's 7.6. The square of 32, take away the square of 29, 13.5. Subtract those, and the difference is 5.9. So I like this page. This page is good. We had to set up a couple tans, a couple sines. We had a Pythagorean on this page, short side Pythagorean. We had some problem solving. We had cross multiplications where the unknown was in the top, and we had cross multiplications when the unknown was in the bottom. So this page is like, I mean, if you can do this page, you're laughing. Okay, like Mr. Wong and I, we're pretty fair guys, and like we look at questions. Like if you take a look at some of these pages that are coming up next, I'll show you something. Like probably number 9, that's probably as hard as it's going to get. Couple triangles, but there's some 3D action going on. Flip the page again. Like look at these two. Like do you think I'll put on one like number 2 is completely random, or is it be more like B and C here? Yeah, just going to be a couple triangles, and that's it. Okay? Now, take a look at this one here. It's all writing, no picture. Are those easy or hard? Easy if you know what you're doing. If you know what you're doing, you probably could draw the picture. Is drawing the picture easy? In my experience, no. Kids get frustrated. They say, I don't want to do this. I don't need math. And then, you know, maybe anxiety or fear or just general don't care, you give up and you stop. So how many of these should I put on a test where there's no picture? 1? I think that's fair. Who said 1? Smart man. Okay, so if there's no picture, I'll probably only put 1 of those, okay? And then next thing you know, it's chapter test, okay? So let's flip back and let's finish off this section. Okay, so we're on page 220. Everyone with me? I'm not too boring today. Happy Monday. Page 220.
Somebody already voted.
Page 220. You okay there, Freddie? Good. Look at this guy taking notes. How about you? You taking notes there, sir?
Yep.
Ah, good.
Use the bathroom.
Okay. Did you write anything down?
No.
Why not? Don't care for this?
I know how to do it.
Okay. Sir, how you doing? Crushing this?
Yes, I'm using magic.
575? 560? You get the same answer as me, sir? How's it going? Yeah. You guys surviving? You surviving? Almost there. Yeah. Quick. I think that's kind of old there, over there. Guys, I think that's old. Okay, let's do number 6 together. So let's take a look at number 6. If they only give you words, you absolutely have to draw a picture. Okay, so let's try to make sense of this. Z can see the top of a 180-meter cell phone tower at an angle of 32 degrees, and N can see it at an angle of 50 degrees. So who's closer? Who's closer to the tower? Think about going to the movie theater. You sit right at the front. How brutal is that? You ever go to IMAX, right at the first row? You're like, oh my God. Right? I don't know. And then the people at the back are just like, oh yeah. Right? Yeah, that was me on last Tuesday. So last Tuesday, I went to IMAX. What do you think? Yeah, Batman vs. Superman with my son. I love going there because on Tuesday, it's cheap. And if you do the IMAX, you can book like a week in advance. You book your ticket right in the middle at the back. And nobody's doing that because they're like, they don't think about it, right? So I go in there like 5 minutes before the movie starts, like just no stress, no worry about no lineup, and you just watch a movie. Question.
How good is Superman versus Batman?
I thought it was okay. Miracle from what? Oh. Anybody see that movie? Batman vs. Superman? Did you like it? Oh, you're going to see it? Oh, saw it last Monday? You like it? Yeah, it was okay. Lots of story at the beginning. I thought they were going to skip the story and just get to some old-fashioned fighting. You know, laser beams and bat wings. But there was too much story, I thought. Okay, anyways. So, Zola and Naeem, who's closer?
I'm gonna say Zola.
Because, like, okay, there's the bottom, and then, like, here's the tower. Okay? So, think about the angles. If you're closer, you have a higher angle. Is that right? Because think about how your neck has to rink back when you're right at the front. Yeah, your neck hurts, right? So who's closer? Naeem is closer because he's at 50 degrees. And Zola is farther because her angle is shorter, 32 degrees. Okay, clearly 50 much more than 32. Okay, so there's Naim. Now, what's it asking? How far apart? So that's this here, right? So you guys go find the distance between the two people. How are we going to do that? This question always screws kids up because what they want to do is they want to work on triangles that are not right angled. So let me just remind you. Always use right triangles. Okay. So the right triangle for Naim is easy. And the tower, 180. The right triangle for Naim is easy. Now, what about the right triangle for Zola? Is it also pretty easy? Now, if you just jot them down on the side, is it a lot easier? And just work on the triangle one at a time? Because what's going to screw you up is all the kids that think like, oh, okay, well, I'll just start using trig on this green triangle here. If I could just figure that green triangle out. But what's the problem with that green triangle? Good, there's no right angle. And kids will always do that. They'll screw it up by choosing to work with triangles that are not right angled. So what's a good strategy? Just draw the right angled triangles on the side and then work on them separately. Marlon, Stoby, keep your eyes open. Don't look at me like that, sir. All right. He's just looking at me like Batman and Superman. Has anybody seen it? Is it okay if I spoil some of it?
No, spoil everything.
Okay. All right. I respect that. There's just one little part. Just pissed me off so bad. Okay, here we go. Yeah. All right, bring it back. So, for these triangles, you want the adjacent in both. For both of these. Why do you want the adjacent, you guys? Because you want the distance between Z and N. So if you had the distance for Zola, and you had the distance for Nola, then what would you do with those two distances to get the missing one? You would just subtract them, okay? All right, so both of these are op and adj, so tangent. Tangent 50, 180 over adj. Tangent 32, 180 over adj. So exact same formula, just different angles. In both of these situations, do I times or divide? Divide. So it's 180 divided by tan 50. 180 divided by tan 32. So you just need to know, if the unknown's in the bottom, I'll divide. If the unknown's in the top, I'll times. And those are two things you should write down on a yellow sheet. Because when you go to write a test, and you're responsible, and you know what's expected of you, and you're prepared, you have your yellow sheet out, and you just jot these things down that you can quickly reference to. Instead of being stressed out on tests and be like, well, I have test anxiety. Okay, well maybe, or you're not prepared. Okay, which one is it? Do you have test anxiety, or did you not study? Just didn't study. Not that like I'm trying to put down people that have anxiety, but I think for the most part, if you study, you should be okay. So one of these is 151, and one of these is 288, and then you just subtract those two numbers. Looks like 137. All right. You guys okay with that one? Good. Look at this, you guys. A study sheet. Oh my gosh. Someone is being prepared. I wouldn't want to go up against her in a job interview. Whew. Just throwing it out there, guys. If you're prepared, you'll have success. Here's a pretty cheesy line. You want to hear it?
Yes. That was good.
You still need that? Okay, you ready for this one? If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Hazik, do you plan your workouts? Yeah. Do you plan your meals? Yeah. And what if you didn't? Would you meet your goals? You wouldn't meet your goals, right? So, but he's bodybuilding. That's a bit different. What about your paper route there, Jaden? If you didn't know the route to drop off all the paper, you know, the newspaper, would you fail at your job? Oh, you don't have a paper route? Oh, I just figured. You show up to school with these nice clothes. Yeah, your paper route. Drive around on your bike throwing the papers. That's not you? Oh. I must have you mistaken with somebody else. That's Khalif. Okay. Number 7. You guys ready for this? A roller coaster. You guys ever been on the Mind Bender?
No.
That's a good time. Too short? Oh, that's sad. That is sad. Right here. What did I just underline? Where is it? Where's the 25? See how it says, what does it say? Angle of, so it goes down from some imaginary horizontal line. Okay? From a height of 14.9, so there it is, given to you. When it reaches the ground, it travels for 8 meters, and then it rises at an angle of 47 to a height of 26.8. So it says, what is the total horizontal distance? So I would need this distance x plus 8 plus this distance y. You okay with that? So the total horizontal distance would be x plus 8 plus y. Okay? So let's focus in on x. How to get x? Right here. This triangle on the board. What do you know about angles of depression? They are the same as angles of elevation. So 25 down here in the corner. You okay with that one? So Jaden, what label is 14.9 to 25? Yeah, what label? Look at the board. 14.9 is what to 25? Op, add, or hype? Up. Okay, that was easy. And x is add because the hype is, this is the hype, right? Across the 90. So that's the hype up there. So we need to use op and add. Which formula is that? Which formula is that? Tan. So tan 25 over 1 equals 14.9 over x. This a times or divide? A divide 14.9 divided by tan 25. 31.95. Okay, now let's work on y. Is y identical? Op and edge, same situation? Yeah. Okay, so tan 47, 26.8 over y. Divide again, 26.8 divided by tan 47. Okay, 24.99. Jaden, is your pencil moving? What about you there, Pluso? Okay, so x plus 8 plus y, 31 plus 24 plus 8, we are getting 64.94. Meters. Yeah, it's in the desk up here. Okay, now the bottom question. What is the total distance traveled by a car on this portion of the roller coaster track? So where's the roller coaster on this track? Yeah, it's on the this is the cart right here, right? Having fun going down, and then it's got a flat part, then you got to go back up. So you need to calculate two hypotenuses now. That height, this height, and still add 8 to it. You guys are comfortable with that one? So for the bottom one, height 1 plus height 2 plus 8. And that will give you the answer. So for these hypotenuses, or hypotenusi, you could use Pythagoras for both, because you have the two sides, you just need the hypotenuse. So for the shortcut, do you add or subtract for the long side hypotenuse? You add. And of course you add the squares. So 14.9 squared plus x squared, which is 31.95. And the other one is 26.8 square plus the y, which was 24.99 square. Use brackets if you have a scientific calculator. If you have the Texas Instruments graphing calculator, it'll do it for you. And if you're following along with me and doing these keystrokes, you're going to remember them for the test and when you do your homework. So just sitting there watching me, not doing anything, that's what I'm worried about. Okay, so you take these two, add them up. Don't forget the 8, the flat part. We got 79.8969, so it's basically 80. Okay, I think I will relax a bit on the next section, which is 3D. So I'll teach a little bit of the 3D stuff tomorrow. Okay, do people still need this page? Is that okay? A little bit more, I don't think I can. You're going to have to get magnifying glasses. Okay, so can you guys work on page 223, number 1, number 1, 3, and 4. What's up, Marlon? Yeah. Page 223, Number 1, 3, and 4.